because we're coming back bigger and better and with more armour. And we're going to shoot from the front, from the side, looking for the lucky gaps. What does it do to our helmet? Hi, it's Todd from Todd's Workshop and Todd Cutler here, and today I'm in the Wallace collection. Toby Capwell is going to come in, the Arms and Army curator here. He'll talk to us about this helmet in a bit. But right now, why am I here? Well, 3 years ago, Toby Capwell, myself and some other friends got together and shot a breastplate, a really accurately, properly made breastplate. But it was a very singular film, and it was done shooting from the front, not from the side, no helmet. We didn't have a helmet. But we are going to have a helmet because we're coming back bigger and better and with more armour. And we're going to shoot highly, completely authentic arrows like this one in quantity at the armour from the front, from the side, looking for the lucky gaps. What does it do to our helmet? But it's going to be costly. I can't pretend any different. So we put together a fundraising page, and we need you to come and visit. We need you to come and donate. But I can promise you one thing, your money will be really well spent, because this film should be, if we can do what we want, extraordinary. Come to the fundraising page, see what we've got planned, because we are going to shoot the helmet if we raise the money, but there is so much more we want to do, and you'll be able to check out all the detail of all the things that we're planning to do. So the first question is, why this helmet? What's it about? How does it work? How does it function? So there can't be anybody better than Toby Capwell to come and tell us about it. So Toby, please, why this one?
Hi Todd, hi everybody. Yeah, this helmet is one of the best surviving examples of a visored bassinet of the type that was worn at the Battle of Agincourt. This one has a good chance of actually being French, or at least the visor. It has a French provenance, as far as we know, and it's closely related stylistically to a number of other bassinets in Paris that also appear to have an old French origin.
It's the tiniest, and I'm not expecting you to step out on a limb here, the tiniest chance that this very visor could have been at Agincourt.
It's not impossible. There were thousands of these at the Battle of Agincourt. And it seems that they were developed as a response, possibly in part, to mass arrow shooting. That when there's so many projectiles coming in to potentially hit your face and kill you, you need to present some kind of new, quite radical glancing surface. You know, a knight can expect to be hit with spears in the face and axe thrusts and all kinds of things. On the most basic level, we can definitely say that is designed to deal with those frontal threats. You can presume that this is going to be very effective against arrows coming in, but we've never actually seen it do its thing. And even if it's totally effective and it does exactly what we expect, we will have actually seen what arrows do when they hit this thing. And who knows, there might be unexpected events too.
Well, what's quite interesting here, of course, is that those holes, breath holes on the side, are absolutely at a sharp angle. Mm-hmm. If the arrows are coming in from that orientation, much more flat to the plate, I would say that those holes are looking pretty vulnerable by now.
Yeah, and the eyewitness account actually says that they became concerned about the sights and the sides of their visors specifically. It says it, that they're worried about the shooting from the side.
Shall we test it?
I think we should. It's a fundamental truth and inescapable fact of armor design. If you can see out, something can get in. And everyone's aware of that, but there is a functional necessity in being able to see at least something. So they're just trying to get what they need in practical terms while minimizing the risks. But how successful really is the design?
If you remember as well, the V that we had on the breastplate was extraordinarily helpful at sending the arrows away from the face. Mm-hmm. One thing that I would love to see is if Joe can land an arrow just above the V. I just want to see if there's any possibility of driving arrows up and under or through the neck defenses.
I would expect that is an issue, but that's where your mail defenses come in. Yeah. You've got the aventail hanging down from the helmet, which protects the whole chin and neck area, and then you usually have a standing mail collar underneath that. So that's like 2 layers of mail and 2 layers of padded textile that is dealing with that vulnerability. Yeah. And that's really as far as you can go because you need to be able to turn your head.
And that first layer is loose hanging. which is anything loose hanging is also, it's like arrow collecting nets.
Yeah.
You hang them loose, you don't hold them tight because they're much better.
But I mean, that neck issue is a really important one for the history of the evolution of armor as well. Because if we're able to say, yes, they've got these mail and textile neck defenses, and they're trying to balance the protection versus the mobility of the head. If we can show that that's still failing, then we really put some color into the story of what comes next with these helmets. And they put steel neck plates on. Yes. By the Battle of Agincourt, a lot of guys are already wearing great bassinets, which are like these, except they have big steel collars front and back. And if we can, emphasize that the standard bassinet with the mail defenses is just not good enough anymore, that would be really interesting. I've always assumed that those neck plates are mainly about lances, that a lance from a horseman is going to just bash straight through all that flexible armor, and you've got to have a neck plate. But it would be interesting to see if there's an arrow issue there as well.
Yeah. It was a very singular film last time. We were addressing an issue, can it go through like the artwork shows straight through the center? As it happened, no, it couldn't. The side, much, much thinner. Much thinner. Yeah. So we have to look at that.
Yeah, and I mean, with the first film, when we put that film out, we got a tremendous amount of feedback from the rest of the world. And the next film is our chance to really respond to a lot of the feedback. I mean, we're not the only ones saying you should shoot it from the side. There's a lot of viewers out there who saw that issue as well. And that's in the eyewitness accounts as well. It's clear that the French at Agincourt knew they were being shot at from the sides, and even felt that they were being shot at from the back in some cases.
Yeah. There were so many unanswered questions that we just weren't able to look at what kind of plate materials they had available in terms of like wrought, bloomery iron, shear steel and so on. What traditional materials they could have used, how they compare one against the other, what the arrowheads are made of, how historical mail compares to contemporary mail. All these little foundation films would be great to do.
And that's all supposition at the moment. I mean, we know that there were different kinds of metal used historically, and we certainly know that we only have certain steels and irons available today. And how different are those modern materials from the historical ones in their performance? Is it radically different or inconsequential?
I don't know, but in a few months I'll be able to tell you. But that depends on the funding. So it really is a case of if we can raise enough to do the main film, brilliant. But any more money on top of that, it brings better cameras, more cameras, hopefully some high-speed cameras, these little deeper diving films where we can really get information about, is wrought iron the best? Do we case harden them? Can you make the heads out of 100% steel, and do they perform any better? We don't know. Nobody really knows.
It's one of these things that you just can't know unless you get out there and do it.
Well, that's it. We can all have the pub conversations about how protective is it. But actually, we can all argue, oh yeah, well I know, but we don't know.
I want to know exactly what happens when these arrows hit this shape. Do they explode and do pieces fly everywhere? Do they just ping off into the sunset?
I'm getting excited already.
What's the behavior,
Yeah, actually, sorry, I am genuinely getting quite excited thinking about it. I just imagine one coming in at the snout there and they're just bouncing up and ricocheting and hitting off the bottom of the eye slots. And there will be so much to see. So come to the fundraising page and see what we're going to do, because all the detail of everything that we would love to do is all laid out. But if we can raise the money, we will be shooting our bassinet here. We will be going back at the breastplate. That is a definite. But there is so much more. So we'll see you again. But in the meantime, Toby, thank you so much. Thank you for the insights. Thank you for allowing us here. And I'll see you in a few months for a day of glory shooting this fella, I think. Thank you. Whoa! Arrows versus Armour is back for part 2. Bigger, better, and definitely much more armour. Come and see what the rewards are. Make this thing happen. It will be epic. It will be amazing. Be part of it.